A good goalkeeper is vitally important for a team. In many matches, the goalkeeper can be the deciding factor, the player who can determine victory or defeat. Still, you can't consider the goalkeeper separately from the team in which he plays.
The goalkeeper has always been a member of the team. Only he has not been treated as a member of the team. Many years, the goalie has been very individually, very separately from the team. And that's a little bit unusual, because as a member of the team, you have a big responsibility towards the team, and also you are very important to win or lose a game. That means that you have to build up a philosophy about what is the specific job of the goalkeeper within that team. Luckily, the last few years, there is more and more attention for the specific position of the goalkeeper within the team. And in the last years, the Frans Hoek method is developed based on experience, trying out and testing on all kinds of levels. Within the videotapes on the soccer goalkeeper, we try to explain the Frans Hoek method as clearly as possible. The base of this method is the game. We analyze the game to see what the job of a goalkeeper is within the team situation. And when we look upon the game, we look upon the game as a very complex situation. Not only isolated the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper as part of his teammates, the opponent, the stress, the time, the public, and things like that. When you have been analyzing the game and you are coming to the position and the specific jobs of a goalkeeper, you have to start with explaining a philosophy on the specific job of that goalkeeper. And when you have that philosophy, you should have that philosophy in connection with the rest of the team. Out of this philosophy, you have to analyze the basic principles of goalkeeping. And when you have the basic principles of goalkeeping, then you can look upon what's happening in the game with, for example, shots on the goal, crosses, breakaway situations, the pass back to the goalkeeper. How does the goalkeeper need to build up the game? And when you have all those possibilities, things and parts, then you can try to understand the situations and try to make the situations as clear, as simple as possible, so you can solve the problems that you meet in the games. If I try to explain one of those situations, for example, a shot on the goal, then you see, first of all, what are the problems when a shot has been given on the goal? What are the specific problems for the goalkeeper? You have to analyze that. When you know the specific problems of the goalkeeper, you can look upon, okay, how can I build it up as easy as possible? Within this videotape, we have been chosen a situation that we make the situation as simple as possible. We practice it with goalies. After the goalies, we go into the game-related situation as soon as possible. That means with the players, with your own players, with opponent, with the time, with the rules, etc., etc., etc. You can also see that within these video tapes, we have been working with goalkeepers from all levels. We have been working with youth goalkeepers, we have been working with amateur goalkeepers, and we have been working with top professional goalkeepers. So you can see on all different kinds of levels that you can use this method, and that the possibilities of the goalies are, of course, differently within the possibilities they have. We also have been working with players, youth players, and the absolute top-level players, the Ajax Amsterdam selection. In this videotape number 1, you will get some explanation and you can look upon the basic principles on goalkeeping. When the ball is coming in the area of the goalkeeper, or the goalie wants to go out and meet the ball as early as possible. Then we explain a situation with a shot at the goal. What happens when somebody gives the shot? What is the analyzation of the situation? And then you see how do we build it up to make it simple, easy and more clear and very easy to get a solution of this problem with goalkeepers, and then as soon as possible within the situation with players. And then we also build it up with exercises, game-related exercises, and also game-related games as close as possible to the regular game. In this videotape number 1, also an example of a youth goalie's warm-up without and with ball, just to give you an example of it. And at the end of this tape, explanation about a very important tool for the goalkeeper, about goalkeeper gloves. Well, I hope that this tape will give you a lot of pleasure by watching it, and on the other side that you gain information out of it that you can use in your own situation with your goalkeepers, with your players. I wish you a lot of pleasure with this tape.
The primary job of a goalkeeper is to give the other side as little chance as possible of scoring a goal. The tools for this purpose are coaching, organizing and leading the team, choosing the right position, and the fastest possible interception of the ball. Besides his defensive role, the goalkeeper is also involved in the building up of the match. His first task must be to create the chances from which his team can score goals. If this can't be done or not realistic given the circumstances of the match, the goalkeeper must try to keep the ball in possession of the team. In order to put this theory into practice, it's important to have a practice-based approach whereby the keeper, alone but also as a member of the team, is very important within that build-up. That is why, for the purpose of these tapes, we have chosen a build-up which, in the first place, will clearly illustrate the general principles of goalkeeping applicable to every keeper the world over. The ways in which this is put into practice can vary, and this obviously will depend upon the height, the width, the speed, and the quality of the keeper.
De uitvoering daarvan kan verschillend zijn. Dat heeft te maken met de lengte, de breedte, de snelheid en de kwaliteiten van de keeper uiteraard.
You can divide the general principles into technical and tactical principles. In this part, we'll deal mainly with the technical principles of goalkeeping. The always right starting position does not exist. There are many different starting positions dependent upon the situation and the aim. That situation should always be such that the keeper first eliminates what to him is the greatest danger. The greatest initial danger is always the goal. The second danger is a ball dropping in front of him or beside him, something which he should anticipate and be prepared for at all times. This automatically means there is no single starting position. There are various starting positions. Each starting position depends upon where the ball is, what the initial danger could be, what the qualities of the opponent are, and what the qualities of the keeper himself are.
Wat kan het eerste gevaar zijn? Wat zijn de kwaliteiten van die tegenstander? En wat zijn de kwaliteiten van de keeper zelf?
The best known is the starting position that's used for a shot at the goal. With this starting position, it's terribly important that the goalkeeper gets into the starting position at just the right moment. Getting into the starting position is an incredibly difficult technique. It is contributory to what the goalkeeper can do next, whether he is too early, too late, or at the right moment. Getting into the starting position means that the goalkeeper never reacts from a stationary position, but always takes a step or a jump in the air, and almost always in a forward direction. Getting into the starting position is necessary to be able to react as quickly as possible. Stepping about and jumping make your legs muscles tense. As a goalkeeper, you can use this pre-tension to react faster. It is critical, therefore, that the jump is made at exactly the right moment. The size of the step and the height of the step or jump always depend upon the distance between the ball and the keeper. A larger distance will give the keeper more time. Depending on the time he has, the jump can be higher, larger, or smaller. And that in turn depends upon the speed and the quality of the keeper.
En dat is iets wat ook weer afhankelijk is van de snelheid en de kwaliteiten van de keeper.
With the starting position, the following matters are of concern. The feet must be about the width of the hips apart. The arms are against the body, elbows a little forward. The hands are open and outstretched in the direction of the ball. The body's center of gravity must be above or forward of the feet. All joints in the stretching chain must be bent. How much depends upon the position and the speed of the ball. And the eyes must be fixed upon the ball. Each individual goalkeeper must find a starting position from which he can act in any direction as fast as possible. Another starting position is for when the ball is far away from the goalkeeper. For example, when the ball is in the half of the opposing team and a possibility exists of a long shot or a lob. The position that the keeper then takes is more like the starting position that can be seen in athletics. One leg forward and the other back, ready to run either backwards or forwards as a reaction to either a lob or a long pass. The third starting position is one in which the keeper can get very close to the ball. And because he can get close to the ball, he will always have to crouch lower, as it is a well-known fact that low balls in front of the keeper are far more difficult than high balls. They should also take more time, so he should try to be ready as close to the ground as soon as possible. With this starting position, the following points are important. The goalkeeper must be prepared for a shot because a lob is practically impossible. He stands in a slightly spread position so he can react quickly on all sides. The arms before or next to the body to block low shots and to force the attacker to get around the goalkeeper. Because the hands are so low to the ground, the knees and hips are bent very low. Not too low, or you'll be stuck. At the moment the ball comes free, he'll have to intercept it. Footwork is very important for the goalkeeper. He must have the skill to be able to move at lightning speeds in all directions as necessary. The aim of the footwork is to get the keeper where he should be or where he should be going as fast as possible in any direction. This could be forwards, sideways, or backwards.
In welke richting dan ook. Dat kan zijn voorwaarts, kan zijn zijwaarts, kan zijn achterwaarts.
Obviously, it's easy for a goalkeeper to run forwards. It's the most natural manner for running, and he has the best overview. The goalkeeper must judge the track of the ball and decide whether to go and intercept the ball or stand still. Sideways running is a little more difficult for a goalkeeper because he must continuously keep looking at the ball. He therefore has to run slightly twisted around. Running backwards is generally the biggest problem. The goalkeeper has to keep looking at the ball and therefore can't see what's happening behind him. It's also physically difficult because the body is in quite an unnatural stance. It's quite understandable that many goalkeepers get nervous in these situations. The goalkeeper stands about 7 yards in front of the goal. The coach signals the direction in which the goalkeeper must run backwards. All these exercises are well suited for warming up. They are not intended for separate training only. The emphasis of these exercises is put on fast reaction to the left and right, and the way in which the goalkeeper runs backwards. Paying attention to the turn, the takeoff, and the landing is also important. Starting position 1. The goalkeeper stands in the sideways starting position and reacts in the direction indicated by the trainer. For the most part, the same emphasis is put on this exercise as the previous exercise. The running distance is only much shorter, requiring a different technique for running backwards. The coach throws the ball in a curve towards the goal. The goalkeeper tries to intercept the ball. After that, the goalkeepers take turns. The emphasis of this exercise is put on the starting position of the goalkeeper, the estimation of the path of the ball, turning left or right, footwork and takeoff in reaction to the relationship of the ball. Starting position number 2. The coach plays the ball with a lob into the goal. The goalkeeper reacts from out of a forward-backward starting position and tries to intercept the ball. The stress of this exercise is on the position of the goalkeeper in front of the goal. The starting position, the estimation of the course of the ball, backward footwork, the takeoff in combination with the ball handling, and the landing. Often it is necessary for a goalkeeper to leap to intercept the ball. That jumping can always be in different directions, forwards, sideways, and backwards. Generally speaking, forwards is easiest. You have a good view, you know where you're going, and you're completely in control. It's a natural movement. Jumping sideways, little more difficult, especially the takeoff, the last step, but the direction in which you're moving makes it difficult too. Again, backwards is the most difficult direction. It's the most unnatural direction, and you'll usually gain the least height and the shortest distance. The following principles are important for jumping. The last step must be large enough to put plenty of forward speed into the jump. After the bending of the takeoff leg, there must be full extension of the ankle, knee, and hip. The upswing leg will have to bend sharply upwards. The most important function of this upswing is to be able to jump higher or further. Through the upswing, the takeoff leg is supported. An incidental, although not unimportant function is protection against attackers. The arms also have to support the takeoff. When the goalkeeper has sufficient time, this movement of the arms must be as ample as possible. Altogether, this means that everything must happen at just the right moment. It therefore demands quite a lot of coordination skills. The goalkeeper practices jumping without a ball. He runs from one cone to the next and leaps as if he catches a ball. This exercise stresses footwork, the proper use of the takeoff leg, the upswing leg, and the supporting role of the arms. The takeoff leg is alternated from left to right.
Opzwaai hoger omhoog. Gebruik die armen. Ja. Opzetbeen, opzwaai. Nou zit je met je rechterbeen af, hè? Juist, nou zit je met je rechterbeen af. Handen achter de bal.
The attackers throw a lob. The goalkeeper intercepts the ball with the jump. All players take turns. In addition to the points stressed in the previous exercise, it is now also important to estimate the path of the ball. The goalkeeper must catch the ball at what for him is the highest point. The goalkeeper practices jumping to a ball beside him. He gets an imaginary cross ball alternatively from the right and the left. When jumping sideways, the takeoff leg is the leg closest to the goal. The upswing leg is therefore closest to the opponent. At the last step, the goalkeeper must turn in towards the direction of the ball. This all must happen in a coordinated fashion. The coach lobs the ball just before the goal. The goalkeeper intercepts the ball with a jump. For this exercise with the ball, the same points from earlier exercises apply. A correct estimation of the path of the ball also comes into play. The goalkeeper runs backwards and tries to handle an imaginary lob before the goal line with a jump. As he jumps backwards, the last step must be large. The emphasis here again is on the takeoff leg, the upswing leg, and the arms.
Oh, zie je? Laatste pas groot. Laag tempo beginnen altijd. Laag tempo beginnen. Andere been afzetten. Linkerbeen. Loop tegen het linkerbeen aan. Hop. En pak. En door. Hop. En door. Hop. Goed zo. En door. Andere been afzetten. En door. En door. En door. Hop. En weg.
The goalkeeper runs backwards and tries to intercept an imaginary crossball with a jump.
Ja. Laatste pas groot. Ja. Volledig uitstrekken van het opzwaai-been. Het buigen van het opzwaai-been. Uitstrekken van het afzetbeen. Hop. En door. Meer power op het been.
The coach plays a lob ball. The backwards running goalkeeper tries to intercept the ball with a jump. The exercise with the ball makes it somewhat more difficult. The timing and method of reaction are now dependent upon the path of the ball.
Veel pasjes, kleine pasjes. Oké, oh, goal. Hou me voor. Andere kant draaien. Hoi. Opzwaai-been meenemen. Hop. Hop. Hoi, jammer. Meer passen.
The
aim of catching should at all times be trying to keep a hold of the ball. You try to get the ball and keep it. This is not always possible. You try to achieve the ideal, to catch the ball in one go. If that doesn't work, you should try to manage it as soon as possible after that.
Dan moet je het proberen zo snel mogelijk na die ene keer te verwezenlijken.
The principle of catching in general is at all times that you try to reduce the speed of the ball. This is always dependent upon the speed of the ball and the speed with which the keeper acts.
En de snelheid die de keeper kan opbrengen bij het handelen.
You will have to try to get to the ball with your body as well as your hands and arms. The first contact with the ball should be made with the softest parts of your body, in this case, the fingers or fingertips.
Het zachtste gedeelte van je lichaam.
It should also be the lower or upper arms, depending upon where the ball comes.
Het kan ook zijn onderarmen of bovenarmen, afhankelijk van waar de bal zou komen.
Once you make contact with the ball, it should be in a manner that ensures that the ball will not fall through your hands or elbows. So you should secure the ball by having your hands around the ball, behind it, and locking it towards your body.
Je zekert de bal door je handen eromheen te hebben, erachter te hebben en op te sluiten naar het lichaam.
Once contact has been made, you will have to take the speed out of the ball with a yielding movement towards the body. As you get the ball to the body, you will have to secure it as quickly as possible by closing your arms around it. This is not always the case. It is very important when you're learning, but at a higher level of play, it will be important to get the ball back into the game as soon as possible, and you will not always allow the time-consuming element of closing your arms around the ball in order to take place. With these general principles for catching, there are, of course, a number of specific points. For a ball across the ground, the goalkeeper has to be careful that the hands are behind the ball. The first contact is with the fingers. Through the yielding movement of the body, the ball's speed is removed. Getting your body behind the ball is also important. Give yourself as much chance as possible, so that should be the ball going through or past your hands. You still have to have your body as a second security. When the ball comes to the goalkeeper a little above the ground, somewhere between the ground and the hips, the same principles as for the pickup apply. The only difference is that the goalkeeper catches the ball in the air rather than picking it up from the ground. Moving up a bit, we get to closing your arms around the ball. The ball is aimed at the body, usually between the shoulders and the hips, and you'll have to catch it underarm, or, if that is impossible, catch the ball with your arms. With this technique, the ball is caught with the inner front of the underarms and the inner front of the upper arms. The goalkeeper goes to meet the ball as much as possible. The elbows must be closed so that the ball cannot pass between the arms and the body. The ball must be secured by wrapping the arms and hands around it. When the ball must be caught still higher, then that happens with an overarm catch. A disadvantage is that the security of having the body behind the ball is no longer there. This can be partly compensated by catching the ball as quickly as possible in front of the body. When something goes wrong at that point, the possibility of recovery is greater than when the ball is caught above the head. Here, too, the first contact is with the fingers to prevent the ball from bouncing away. Bending the arms will slow the ball down. The ball is secured by embracing it against the body. That catching is done in a lot of situations, and not only at the body, but also left and right of the body. That could be in combination with jumping, and it could also be in combination with falling, diving, and hovering above the ground. The fall is used to get possession of the ball. Mostly the fall is used because there is not enough time to intercept the ball with footwork. When the goalkeeper falls low to intercept a ball further away, we call that diving. If the ball is higher, then we call that gliding. Falling, diving, and hovering do have disadvantages. It is important that you know these disadvantages because you should only fall when absolutely necessary. It's an extra aid, really, an extra security if you can't reach the ball with footwork and a jump.
Door middel van goed voetenwerk en een sprong bij de bal kunt komen.
The disadvantages are the loss of contact with the ground, in which case it is virtually impossible for the goalkeeper to change position if the ball changes course. When the goalkeeper loses the ball in the air, it costs time to recover it. There's a relatively high risk of losing the ball on the descent. Another disadvantage are the injuries that regularly arise. These mostly come because of poor technique. When a goalkeeper is lying on the ground holding the ball, he can have a difficult time protecting himself against incoming attackers, so again, the risk of injury. The last disadvantage is that sometimes it costs more time for the goalkeeper before play can resume. That time can allow the opposition to reorganize. There are thus several ways of falling. That's why there will always be a distinction in the techniques of the different forms of falling. We see that falling is a fairly controlled movement, whereby you will obviously try initially to deal with the ball correctly. The best way is always being to catch it. If that's not possible, then it would be by flicking it or punching it. We see that in falling, the keeper rolls from the foot to the knee, to the hip, to the shoulders.
Naar de knie, naar de heup, naar de schouders.
Important points are a good handling technique, a good rolling technique.
Elleboog.
The elbow is extremely important in all of this.
De elleboog nooit op de
Don't
grond
put your
plaatsen,
elbow on the
maar
ground,
altijd
but
voor
always in
het
front of your body
na het
after
zekeren van de
securing the ball,
waarbij je dus
whereby you
inderdaad
do
afrolt
indeed
over
roll
de
over your
zijkant
side.
En over de zijkant van het bovenlichaam.
Don't tuck your elbows into your ribs either.
Als dat gebeurt,
If
dan is
that
de kans
happens,
op
you can run a risk of
ribblessures.
rib
Bij
injuries.
het vallen niet naar de
When
buik,
falling,
ook niet
don't
naar de
turn on your
rug draaien,
stomach or onto
maar
your
als een soort
back, but fall
dakpan
over the ball
over de
so that
bal
it's
vallen,
well
zodat je hem
protected
ook goed
too.
beschermt.
There is a range of exercises to help you learn the right falling technique. A disadvantage of falling is the regular occurrence of injuries. It is therefore particularly important for youths to do a lot of exercises throughout which they are getting used to hitting the ground. We call these ground accustomization exercises. The purpose of these exercises is to take away the fear of falling. They're also good exercises as part of the warm-up. Doing these exercises won't do any harm under extreme conditions such as a hard field. They're also good for accustomization.
En op, goed zo. Goed over die zijkant. Hop. En op. Pak de bal, rol over de zijkant af. Pak de bal, naar binnen, rol over de zijkant. Hop. Oké, die zit. Goed zo. Hop. En op. Keurig. Hop. En op. Goed zo. En stop. Voet zit. Maak een stap. Pak de bal. Rol naar over de zijkant. Stap, hop, en op. Glas, los. En staan. Klaar, hop, stap, en gaan. Ja. Stap, stap, rollen op. Hop, en omhoog. Oké, paard. Oké, en op. Uitgehouden. En hop. En rustig. Uitstekend. Kom. Hop. Even. Stop. Hop. Hop. En in. Hop. Mooi. Hop. En hop. Mooi. Rol. En op. Ja. Hop. En op. Gewoon voor je. Voor je. Stop. Hop. En je rol af. Hop. En je rol af. Hop. En op. Go. Hop. Mooi. Op. Op het bal. Rol af. Twee handen op. Hop. Stap naartoe. Ja, ik geef de kant aan. En op. En op. Stap. Bal. Af. En draai. En op. Ophouden. Klaar. Go. En op. Onderop. Vast. En naar die bal. En die rol hem af. En op. Ja. En op.
Diving is an altogether different technique. The dive is much less controlled because the goalkeeper no longer has contact with the ground. Important principles of diving at all times are again that you make as short a way as possible to the ball and in a straight line so that you can lose as little time and space as possible in getting to the ball. If possible, you must go for the ball with two hands. One hand on the ball and one hand behind the ball, the ground acting as the third hand. After that, you must handle and protect the ball as quickly as possible. Sometimes the speed of the ball is so that it can't be handled with two hands. In that case, the keeper will have to use one hand. The technique for diving is therefore completely different from the technique of falling. For this reason, it is important to do some specific exercises. The purpose of the exercises is twofold. In the first place, the handling of the ball is practice, but also the protection of the body so that the chances of injury are kept as small as possible.
Hand erachter en schuin insnijden als het kan, hè. Klaar. Hup, vast. Oké, stop.
The
keeper's hovering, the way he practically hangs horizontally above the ground, that of course is the technique that gained the keeper name and fame, especially with the crowds. Over the years, some changes have taken place in the player's game and so too in the keeper's game. Hovering, as we used to know it, has faded into the background and is actually very rarely seen at all. The reason for this is that nowadays the balls are played much faster and the keeper's technique has developed in such a way that he can get very close to the ball with good footwork so that actual hovering has been pushed to the background. There are moments when it is necessary for a goalkeeper to glide because he can't reach the ball in another way. A goalkeeper must therefore not go gliding unnecessarily. The gliding of today is more or less a combination of falling and diving. When a goalkeeper cannot catch a ball, he can take the decision to touch the ball instead. The aim of touching is to alter the direction of the ball so that the danger disappears. It is clear that in flicking the ball you have no control over it. This means that some other action must always follow, especially if the ball stays in the game. Catching the ball is ideal. If that's not possible, you'll have to try something else. Flicking it, for example. When a goalkeeper cannot catch a ball, there is always the possibility to punch the ball instead. Punching occurs a lot with a cross ball, where there are a lot of players standing in front of the goalkeeper. Catching the ball then poses too many risks, and the goalkeeper must decide whether to punch with one or two fists. When punching the ball, it is important that the ball is cleared as far as possible from the danger zone. It is wrong to punch it down the center. It is far better to punch it out to the wings. It is difficult, for example, to pass a ball to the other side of the pitch. The basic tactical principles of goalkeeping can be divided into a number of situations the keeper could find himself in. These situations are shots on goal or headers at the goal. In principle, this is a direct danger, which means that if the keeper makes a mistake now, there is a very real chance of the opponent scoring a goal. Secondly, there are the cross balls or passes. These form an indirect danger. A mistake now would not always result in a goal. Thirdly, there are the long passes, sometimes in combination with the one-to-one duel. They form an indirect danger. The keeper making a mistake now will not always result in a goal for the opponent. There are four basic tactical principles for shooting or heading at the goal. First of all, the goalkeeper must always stand on the imaginary line that runs between the ball and the middle of the goal. He will hardly ever stand on the goal line, but a little in front of it. He will have to come to the starting position at the right moment in order to switch over to a new action. The goalkeeper will have to try to intercept the ball as quickly as possible. So whatever the kind of danger, the keeper should continuously be on the line, ball center goal, away from the goal line. The distance will depend on whether the ball is a lob, in which case he will be back, the time of the step, the jump, the starting position, and the following action. This could be footwork, it could be falling or diving, catching, flicking, or punching the ball. In this exercise, the goalkeeper has to handle shots from different positions, so he assumes various positions depending on where the shot originates from. The attacker kicks the ball at the goal through the cones. The goalkeeper assumes the right position and stops the shot. After each shot, the next player takes his turn.
Oké, ga je gang. Positie, uitgangshouding, hup, pakken en weg.
The keeper in the goal must therefore always place himself on the line between the ball and the center of the goal. He should stand at such a distance in front of the goal that he can intercept any lobs. Of further importance are the moment on which he assumes the starting position, the starting position itself, and the action he takes following the starting position. In this exercise involving pro goalkeepers, the keeper who plays the ball at the goal must try to aim the shot very carefully. This involves a high degree of concentration and using the right techniques. A similar type of organization is used when other techniques for shooting at the goal are applied. The following techniques are successfully practiced: handling the drop kick, handling the volley, and kicking a ball which has been kicked. In this example, all the balls are shot from the same position. Of course, all these forms should be practiced from varying positions, but also from different distances.
Ontspannen, ontspannen, verklein, nu! Hup, en vast. Oké, Hans.
This is the type of match with two goalkeepers. The goals in this example stand about 20 meters apart. You can vary the distance depending on the objective. The goalkeepers try to score goals from each other by kicking or throwing. The objective of this form of competition is the consistent taking up of the right position in the goal, the estimation of the thrown or shot ball, and getting into the starting position. The starting position itself, followed by the correct action. With exercises for players, it is important not to get them shooting for goals directly at their maximum potential. It is a component of the soccer-specific warm-up. The player comes from a relaxed dribble to a shot that the goalkeeper has to be able to handle easily. In this way, the goalkeeper can prepare himself for shots that demand maximum reaction. Here again, there are goal shots from different positions and distances. The goalkeeper must therefore continuously adapt his position to that of the player with the ball, and bring all the principles into play with the shot. The players start to pick up more speed from the dribble and try now to score. More of a real match situation now exists. That demands optimal reaction from the goalkeeper, but also sharpness on the part of the players. By varying the positions and the distances of the shots, it becomes more difficult for the goalkeeper or the players respectively. The players play out the ball for themselves once and then try to score. When the ball is played too far, the goalkeeper must then try to intercept the ball. If the ball is hit too lightly, the distance to the goalkeeper is greater, making it easier for him. The players must hit the ball in such a way that they get into an ideal position and the goalkeeper cannot intercept the ball. The front player in the 18-yard area offers himself. He gets the ball passed, runs with the ball, and shoots at the goal. The goalkeeper must choose a position from which he can directly intervene in the event that the player does not control the ball properly. He must also continuously adjust his position to the situation. The same exercise as before, but with a 1-2 combination. Naturally, this exercise can be played out from different positions and distances. The same exercise with the 1-2 combination, the job for the goalkeeper is to regain the right position after the 1-2 combo. When the combination is not correct, he must intercept the ball. If the 1-2 combination cannot be intercepted by the goalkeeper, then a shot at the goal follows. Once again, this exercise can be done from various positions. A player in the 16-meter area calls for the ball. The ball is passed, and he plays the ball back. Directly upon that, he asks for the ball back. The ball is again passed with a deep thrust pass, and he tries to score. It goes for the goalkeeper that, if the 1-2 combination or the pass is not clean, he must intervene. If he does not succeed, then follows the shot at the goal with the action of the goalkeeper. This exercise can also be done from different positions. The attacker calls for the ball. The goalkeeper plays the ball in. The right attacker acts for the ball and receives it. The left attacker gets the ball back and tries to score. The goalkeeper must play the ball to the player who is calling. This can be done by a kick or a throw. It is important that the ball gets to the place where it's supposed to go and that the player can easily bring it under control. After that, the goalkeeper will have to immediately take up the right position to be able to intercept. That could happen when the pass is not given correctly, the handling is not good, or if a cross ball can be intercepted. He will therefore have to continuously adjust his position and must take into account the tactical principles.
Positie, iets meer naar links, iets meer naar links. Hup, go, go, go. Kijk, iedere keer midden van de goal met de bal. Je staat iets te veel naar rechts. Ik sta in het midden. Dus je kan er wat dat betreft goed zien.
The player calls for the ball. The goalkeeper plays the ball. The right player offers himself, receives the ball, and tries to score. The goalkeeper must correctly play the ball to the calling player. That can be a roll throw. After that, he must take up a position which reduces the chance of the player scoring a goal to a minimum. He will have to try to intercept the cross ball. When this is not possible, he must prepare himself for the new situation. Initially, that can be getting as close to the ball and the player as possible. If that also proves difficult, then he must take up a position in the goal that gives him the best chance of handling the shot. In this type of exercise, the goals are placed at about 50 yards distance from each other. The aim is to get scoring possibilities from outside the 18-yard area. The player with the differently colored shirt is the neutral player and always plays with the team that has possession of the ball. Because the playing field is narrow, there are few cross balls but many shots. The same form, but finished from outside 11 meters. For the goalkeeper, this exercise match puts the stress on his position, getting into starting position, the starting position itself, the action, and with the possession of the ball, making the right decision about continuing the play and coaching. The form in which shots are allowed from any distance. This is a game on a very small field, 12 by 12. The intention here is to increase the speed of action of the players as well as the goalkeeper and to come to many shots at the goal. He must also continually modify his position to the fast-changing game setup. When the goalkeeper is in possession of the ball, he must choose the right build-up. Because everything happens so close to the goal, that choice must be without risk. Coaching is very important with this form of game.
Help hem, help hem. En nog eens. Nee, Frankie. Oh, nu rechts. Goed, Paul.
De warming-up voor jeugdkeepers tussen...
For the junior keepers between the age of 8 and about 18, warming up is important, not only from the physical point of view, preparing the body for the work to come, warming up the body to minimize the risk of injuries, warming up the body so that the performance that follows will be the best possible. It is also important to grind in a number of basic principles. This is why, in principle, those between 18 and 8 need to do the same sort of warming up to be sufficient. Watch this example carefully and you will see what makes a simple warm-up, yet one which will achieve many important goals.
Dus, kijk goed naar dit voorbeeld en dan zie je wat een simpele warming-up kan inhouden, maar waarbij heel veel doelstellingen gerealiseerd kunnen worden.
This warm-up has many interesting aspects for the goalkeeper. Jogging, touching the heels and arm, swaying are just some of the simple forms to prepare the body for the following training. The older a goalkeeper gets, the more important stretching and flexibility exercises become. For youths between 8 and 12 years old, these flexibility exercises get them used to a properly executed warm-up. Jumping and running forms are obviously also very useful in the warm-up, not only as preparation for the rest of the training, but also to help the automation of movements. Accelerating in all direction also fits in well in the warm-up. Ground accustomization exercises as preparation for falling also belong in the warm-up. If the goalkeepers do the warm-up themselves before training, then this also means saving time.
Achteruit, hop. Hup. Daar. Val. Op. Spring. Hop, goed. Spring. Hop, voetenwerk achteruit. Kom maar. Achteruit, achteruit, achteruit. Daar. 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 Op. Daar.
The emphasis with the use of the kickback lies on the throw-in, getting into the starting position, the right catch of the ball, upper arm, embracing, or underarm, and falling to left and right. The interception of the cross ball with footwork, among others, and the takeoff with the correct leg. This part is concluded with a game.
Speel maar in. 1-0. Hup, ga door, ga door. 1-1. 2-1 voor jullie, klasse. Ah! 2-2. Ja, je ging te snel. 3-2 voor mij. Ga door, ga door. 3-3.
Op de allereerste eerste plaats.
An important part of the goalkeeper's equipment are, of course, the gloves. They're especially important for the grip on the ball, but they also have a number of functional values, such as protecting the fingers and wrists. Furthermore, the back of the glove can be functional when punching the ball.
Zoals bijvoorbeeld bescherming van de vingers, bescherming van de pols, maar ook de bovenkant die weer functioneel kan zijn bij het stompen van ballen.
The inside of the glove is decisive for a grip on the ball. A hard inside gives good grip in dry weather, but less grip if wet. A soft inside is a different story. The strength is less, but the grip on the ball is excellent in all weather conditions. Besides, there are all sorts of gloves of different degrees of hardness and composition. In general, you could say, the harder, the stronger, but accept less grip in wet weather. The softer the glove, the better the grip in all weather conditions, but there's also more wear and tear on the glove, especially in dry weather. There is one more exception regarding the palm of the glove, and that is the so-called AGP, Adhesive Power Grip. That is a glove with a number of special features. It looks like a super soft palm, but it is an adhesive effect, especially in dry weather. This adhesive effect changes to the normal effect of a super soft glove in wetter weather. The advantage of these gloves is that they are stronger than the super soft gloves, and that after washing and subsequent drying, the adhesive effect always returns.
Daarnaast heeft hij ook het voordeel dat als de handschoen uitgewassen is, vervolgens opdroogt, dat de klevende werking ten alle tijde terugkomt.
The gloves are held in place with Velcro strips. There are different types of Velcro. The strips which wrap around the wrist are best for holding the glove in place. When you make a strong advance, these kinds of strips always have a preventative effect on wrist injuries. Velcro strips that only sit on the top side of the glove also have their advantages. The inside of the glove can be taken up as much as possible with the material for a good grip on the ball. Another advantage is that a throw-out, you can strongly clasp the ball between the wrist and the fingers. In this way, the grip is very good. Gloves are also distinguished by the way in which they have been stitched. A seam on the outside is the so-called positive seam. A seam on the inside is the so-called negative seam. The advantage of the negative seam is that the glove fits fairly tightly around the fingers, thereby increasing the contact between the fingers and the ball. Furthermore, you can get the so-called frog inside. That is, inside a pre-formed frog with a finger bed. With the frog palm, there is a glove with a preformed finger bed on the inside, whereby the fingers lie embedded as your toes would in a footbed. An advantage of this is that the gloves are anchored. The fingers can't twist, and besides that, it also has a cushioning effect if the ball hits the glove. The fingers are also a little shorter in the form of a frog's foot, and that increases the pressure that you can put on the ball. At the same time, the protection of the hand is even greater, and the force against the very hard balls is neutralized, thus lowering the risk of injury.